So, how do we hire the right people? Well, we need to be able to have an onboarding process that can sift out people who aren't right for the job anyway. Whenever I'm hiring people on Upwork, one of the things that I do is I put it all up front about what they need to do. But I put in little zingers or like little tricks within the proposal in order for me to find people that would be really good. So at the end of the post, I'll put type purple elephant in the beginning of your proposal. And so you'll be able to see when I get proposals back, maybe half of them will have read all the way down to the bottom. So that's a really good way as it relates to, you can put that on like any type of resume finder in terms of like you putting a post on there or whatever. But even if it's like someone like giving you their resume, put something in there to make sure that they read all the way down to the bottom. Now, sometimes people already know this, so you have to be careful as it relates to being keen on looking at people's proposals that they send in or looking at their resumes. And so, the second thing is I look to see if they're including anything that wrote in the proposal. So one thing that I talk about is I'm not looking for short-term employees. I'm looking for long-term employees. I'm not looking for people that want to bounce around. I'm looking for people that want to be able to stay and make a really great impact. I also talk about the innovativeness as well as some of the company culture that I have. And so I check to see that. And I also check to see if they're making it bold that they have the skills that I need because I write down the skills that I need. So the first thing I want to see is, let's say it's like blue flamingo. That's the first thing I want to be able to see in their proposal. The next thing I want to be able to see is what their expertise are and how they write. Next, so in order to slow down the process, I'll tell them that it's a paid trial run. And then I'll do the paid trial run and I'll let them know that there's an interview afterwards. Typically, I don't do the interview because I'll be able to figure out a lot about this person and how they interact with me before like even getting to an interview. But I have them do some sample work, and it's basically talked about as an audition. Typically, I'll hire the best person, and if that person doesn't work out, then I'll go down the line. But typically, I haven't had to go past two people. And I also see how willing they're able to go dig down into the details of it because I put a lot of work in terms of putting the details together. And so one of the things that I look for and one of the things I hold myself accountable to is hiring the right people. But for example, I'm hiring people online and I lead a remote team. So that's what I'm looking for as it relates to, can I trust you? I'm much more of a laissez-faire leader. So I let this person know what the problem is and I'm letting them know that I'm paying them to solve it. And it's not like some type of like really like bleak exchange, because typically um, I will add things in there in my business that people typically won't be doing. But for example, I needed someone to do Excel work. And I also decided to hire them for something else because I see how meticulous they are. It's things like that. Or I'll make sure, oh, I want my Excel sheets formatted this way. And typically I'll do how-to videos on how to do something, if not giving this person some type of instruction. But the instructions are also very important. So that's also another thing that I put in my proposal when I'm looking for people. These are the instructions so that if there's anything that needs to be asked about, typically it's not the instructions, typically it's only clarifying questions. But I like to reduce the amount of clarifying questions that I have to answer because I can do that right when I'm giving them the task to begin with. But that's a way that you can hire the right people. You can also do this with CVs as well, resumes. And this is Deshawn on Lead and Grow.